What's going on, guys? Welcome to Okie Outdoor Adventures. Today we're talking about my 2020 Tracker Pro Team 175 TF. That's a mouthful, right? We're celebrating the 1 year anniversary of picking up the Tracker, and I wanted to share with you guys my thoughts over the last 12 months so you can make a decision one way or another if you're in the market for a boat, specifically a Tracker. So first, I want to let you know that this feedback is strictly from the perspective of a bass fisherman. I'm not a multi-species guy. I don't set and crappie fish. Don't do any catfishing off the boat. Love to, I just don't. So all of this feedback is centered around my bass fishing adventures. So please keep that in mind. Also, please keep in mind that a lot of the feedback that I'm providing is strictly based on my experience and my opinion. So if you have experienced something different, that's great. These are just my experiences. That should go without saying, but you know how it is. Third, before we jump in, I cannot begin to express how grateful I am for all the support on the channel lately. You guys are phenomenal. Keep hitting that subscribe button, thumbs up these videos, comment, let's engage. I appreciate you guys. It's phenomenal. All of that aside, let's jump in and start talking about this Tracker. So I'm gonna do this relatively quick. I don't want to waste a lot of your time. So I'm gonna go through a list of my pros, a list of my cons, common questions that I'm asked, and then I'll provide you some general feedback. So the pros, we'll just lead off with that right now. I'm a big guy, weigh close to 300 pounds. I've had Steve the OK Fisherman on my boat. He's about the same weight as me. He's a freaking gargantuan. He's tall. It's very stable. We can both move around. Now occasionally you might get caught if your balance is not great and stumble a little bit, but for the most part it's a very stable boat. It handles waves really well. With any kind of big waves or whatever, you're going to experience some rock. There's really not any way around that in a 17.5-foot boat. It is what it is. Overall though, it's very stable and I'm very happy with that. Second pro, lots of tackle storage. I've got all of the boxes you can see behind me. They all easily fit in the boat. No issues with tackle storage whatsoever. There's a con though coming up, so keep that in mind. Just remember that. The 75 horse 4-stroke is so quiet and it generates good power. That's a follow-up question here in just a minute, but the 75 horse 4-stroke, definitely a pro for this boat. It's easy to load and unload, guys. Getting this thing on and off the trailer is a piece of cake. Now, sometimes when I'm solo loading, I might struggle depending on the wind, whatever it is, but that's not really the boat's fault, right? That's inexperience and impatience more than anything. The boat is incredibly easy to load and unload. Keep that in mind. Finally, you can get it just about anywhere you want. With the adjustable trolling motor, we've had it in as little as maybe 8 to 10 inches of water. You can get it just about anywhere. So with me, Alex, all of our gear, we were literally fishing, just skimming the bottom, and no issues, none whatsoever. So that's great. The cons, very quickly, the vinyl, guys. I know folks love the vinyl because it's easy to clean, but it's hot. I'm a barefoot guy. I love to fish barefoot. I love to be outside barefoot. I don't know, it might be the redneck in me. I really have no idea. But I prefer to be barefoot, and that vinyl gets blistering hot. Not only on your feet, but it's throwing that heat back up and reflecting that heat back up. And there's been days in the summertime where it literally just saps you guys. It takes a lot out of you. I could get a cover. I know there's options. Again, it was a personal choice that I made. I have to live with it, but I do not like the vinyl. The boxes. This kind of goes back to what I was talking about earlier. The boxes sweat really bad. I have to store my boat outside. I don't have the garage space right now. It stays covered, but the boxes sweat. It's got the aluminum lids, so the condensation builds up. If I don't bring my tackle inside or my gear inside, it's drenched. Now, guys have suggested leaving the boxes open, leaving the boat uncovered so everything can dry out, but you know, there's like 40 or 50 degree temperature changes between the day and the night cycle here, and the condensation just happens. It's science. So keep that in mind. This one is more bass centric, I think, and it's what I keyed on earlier, but the rod storage length, I'll never use it. Like, I have one rod that would have fit in there and I replaced it. They say it fits up to 7 foot, but you have to literally bend the rods yeah, at a crazy angle to get them down in the initial part of the tube, and then to get them to fit in the box. And you might be able to get one in there, but I'm not really comfortable bending and dragging my eyes through those holes to try and store it in a rod locker. So I put them in the back of the truck, and we move on. Peasants rejoice. Let's jump into a couple of questions that I'm asked a lot by guys who either see me out on the water or engage on the channel. I'll do my best to answer those as truthfully as possible. First up, how does it handle big water? Well, I'll be honest. We don't have a lot of what I would define as big water, right? We don't have the Great Lakes. We don't have the giants. I've been in situations where I've been on big water for Oklahoma, and it handles it pretty well. When I had the original Edge, 45-pound Edge, it terrified me. I got pushed up on the rocks on Lake Skytook, and couldn't. Not only was I dealing with wind and the waves from that, but I was dealing with boat traffic, and the trolling motor cavitated a lot. I couldn't get good power, and got slung up on the rocks. So learned a very important lesson there. But overall, it handles it really well. It handles that type of water really well. It cuts through waves pretty well. If you're an experienced boater, then you know how to handle cross waves, and still learning a little bit of that after this last year, but I think it does a really good job, and it doesn't beat your back up. It does ride smooth, so I'll give it an A+ for that. How do I like the vinyl? If I didn't make that honest or apparent rather in the earlier part of this video, I hate it. It's bubbling, it's peeling. I could probably warranty it, but I don't really feel like losing my boat for 6 or 8 weeks so that they can glue something down that ultimately is going to fail again. It appears to be a common problem. I've seen it mentioned in several videos. I'll have to live with it. My plan is to eventually, within the next probably 3 to 4 years, trade the boat in for something bigger anyway, so I just got to make sure that it's well taken care of and that the vinyl doesn't get torn up, and we should be okay. How strong is that 75 horsepower with that 17.5-foot boat? Well, it's got a really good hole shot. I think we can get, or the fastest I've got with me, all of my gear, and another person is 41, maybe 42. I could probably change the prop and get a little more out of it, but I don't really need that much. I'm not fishing like giant tournaments, right? I'll do a jackpot, or we fish some local tournaments, but I'm not doing anything that requires me to have a 250 horsepower motor or travel above 40, 45 miles an hour. So it's very quiet, it's got good power, it's very responsive, and I've got nothing negative to say about the 4-stroke, so love it. How does it handle the wind? Well, I'll just be perfectly honest, it gets blown around pretty bad. We tend to trim the motor down and try and keep everything, semi-stationary. I've got the Garmin Force on it now, so I can anchor lock. That's not a big deal, but it does get blown around pretty bad. Now, I don't know if that's a symptom of being a 17.5-foot boat or an aluminum boat or both, but it does get blown around pretty bad. So if you're not running anything like talons or poles or something with spot or anchor lock, you're probably going to get blown around, or you're going to have to stay on your motor to keep you where you need to be. But I took care of that. So, primary questions. If you guys have any more questions, drop them in the comments. I'll do my best to get everything answered for you. I want you guys to be able to make informed decisions. So, yeah. Now, my general feedback, and again, totally bass centric. If I could go back and do it again, I would have spent the $5,000, $4,500, $5,000, and got a TX model or a tournament special model. The seat placement on the front, it's got the 3 pedestals so you can throw seats on it. They really get in the way. I find myself tripping over those all the time. I don't care for the recessed deck. It's nice. It probably keeps me from losing gear at times, but I would like a little more of a built-up platform for that. Not really a big deal. I would love to have more storage, like rod storage. I'd love to be able to put those in the boat, lock it up, and throw the cover on and travel somewhere, and not have them in the back of my truck getting rained on or whatever. Would be nice to have more motor, but again, right now for what I'm doing, I can't fault the boat for that. It does its job, and it does it really well. So am I happy with it? Absolutely. It's a boat. It's a nice boat. It floats. The motor runs. I've caught a ton of fish out of it. Seen a lot of really big fish caught out of it, and I don't regret anything. Like I said, just going back with the gift of hindsight, I might have done a few things differently, but I'm really quite pleased with what I got. The 2020 Tracker Pro Team 175 TF, or TF Pro Team 176583009. Oh, why would you name it something so complex? I don't get that. It's a great boat, guys. So I would definitely call it an entry-level starter boat for multi-species guys. I'm sure a lot of the points that I raised are pros in your mind, having that extra seating position. I could see how that would be a benefit, but it's just not for me. So guys, that's my general thoughts on the Tracker. Again, love it. Can't wait to get it traded in for maybe a glass boat or even an Express. Ooh, might trade it in for an X21. Yeah. If you guys own a Tracker, let me know what you think in the comments below. Again, it's sort of subjective feedback, just things that I wanted to share with my community. If you made it to this part of the video, I appreciate each and every one of you. You are truly the best. I know we're a small community, less than 1,000 subscribers, but you guys truly are the best. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button, share the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're not currently a subscriber, and we'll catch you next time on the water.